Hello and welcome to my very first vlog. This is quite exciting and more than a little bit terrifying, but hopefully it will help someone out there going through what I'm going through or about to go through. So I am going to be next week on Monday starting a 12-week intensive technical academy, and I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also very apprehensive and not quite sure what it's going to be like. And I kind of thought, well, if I'm having these feelings and I've worked in tech previously, someone else might also be going through this who perhaps hasn't been working in tech and might be even more apprehensive. So I was hoping that doing these vlogs and blogs and my Twitter and Instagram feeds will kind of all combined might help someone get an understanding of what it's like to go through an intensive technical academy. Some places call them boot camps. I prefer the name academy. And yeah, so here we are. I am fortunate enough to be in the position where my employer is putting me through this course. So shout out to Nationwide Building Society in the UK. I'm very lucky that they've seen something in me and want to help me go further. Not everyone gets this opportunity, so I'm really thankful to them. They haven't asked me to do these videos, so I probably should get their permission before I start talking about them, but anyway, I'm sure it'll be fine. But I am very grateful for the opportunity, and I think they deserve a shout out. They're a very good employer and I'm very lucky. So the course itself, just very briefly, it's 12 weeks covering everything from programming to DevOps. The specific language we're going to be looking at is Java. I'll talk a bit more about that later and in other blogs and vlogs as well. The training provider is QA, who have worked quite closely with Nationwide Building Society to tailor the course, so it's more suited to the work that we'll be doing in Nationwide afterwards. And so for those that don't know, Nationwide Building Society is a very well-established financial institution in the UK, very similar to a bank, but I think better, which is one of the reasons I'm working for them. They're a mutual, so they don't have shareholders and they're owned by their members. And this is reflected in the whole ethos across the company, that putting their members first is one of the main features, which I really like. I'm a customer, a member as we're called, as well as an employee. So that's that out of the way. And so I suppose the reason I went into that is because a lot of this, what I'm going to be doing is trying to show how what I'm studying on the course relays to back to what I'm going to be doing when I come off the course. So real life practical, this is how it's going to be done in the real world kind of thing. And so a lot of that will be influenced by the fact that it's a financial institution, so there'll be certain things that we maybe do differently because we're heavily regulated, that kind of thing. And so yeah, it might be different if you're going to go into a e-commerce setting or any other kind of industry, public sector potentially, although they're probably regulated quite heavily too. Yeah, so just bear that in mind. It will be tailored to financial services. So a bit about the vlogs and the format of how I'm going to share my journey. I'm going to do it over quite a few channels. So there's going to be the YouTube vlog, and I'm going to have a blog which I will share the link to either on the screen or in the comment box. And I'm also going to be using Twitter and Instagram to share the more the day-to-day side of things, the good and the bad. I'm sure I'll have my fair share of down times. But yeah, just so you get a true understanding of what it's like, and hopefully it should hopefully make sense if you just use one format, either the vlogs or the blogs or the Twitter or Instagram, but combined it should give you a really good understanding and reflection of what I'm going through and and then you might be able to interpret that into how you might find it. So a little bit about me. I I hated computers when I was a kid growing up. I didn't really see the point of them. I had to study GMVQ ICT at school, which is all about word processing and Microsoft Publisher, anyone, if you remember that, how to make a poster. And so that was kind of my first interaction with a computer. We had one when I was a little bit older at home, but neither of my parents were computer users, and so yeah, we kind of just had to learn as we went along. Started using it for homework after school. Encarta Encyclopedia, if anyone remembers that CD. And yes, anyway, I digress. So I didn't like computers at school. I did maths, physics, chemistry, further maths A-level, and an AS in history, but weirdly enough, actually now looking back at it, I was never once suggested, oh, you should maybe consider programming or computer science, possibly because they maybe saw my hatred of computers, but anyway, that opportunity was never presented, and so I didn't investigate it any further. I went to university, I studied international politics, because I quite like talking and arguing / discussing stuff with people. And at insider info, working in tech, you still get to talk to people and discuss things with them. So, you know, best of both worlds. And I have been working in tech for the past 7 years now, I think. Previous to that, I worked in research, specialising in infectious disease control and epidemiology. It's a long story, so I'm not going to go into it here, but very interesting, but not quite the right career for me. I'm much more suited to technology. I enjoy it, and I really like it. And there's so many different options that you can do in technology, that there's just so many different options you have when you go into technology, and you can there'll be something for everyone, I think. So yeah, that was a brief little bit about me. Now, so how I'm finding it so far. I don't actually start the course until Monday next week, so in a couple of days' time. And prior to this, we've had some pre-learning to do. So we have access to a tool called Pluralsight, which it's a brilliant resource if you have a chance to access it. Lots and lots of video resources and practice demos, really in-depth, detailed information. And so we've had a series of those videos to watch, and then also a pre-assessment piece of work involving Git and Java and Linux, that kind of thing. And it's difficult. If you follow me on Twitter already, you've probably seen the ups and the downs of learning to code. It's fun, it's really interesting, and it's working my brains in ways I didn't expect it to, or haven't used since A-levels, but I'm enjoying it and it's good fun. But it's difficult. It is a lot. I'm not going to lie. It's a lot. It's been a lot of work for me anyway, and I don't know if it's just because I've not done any hands-on technical stuff for so long, or I didn't have that knowledge in the first place, or what. But it's taken me a long time to get my head around it. And so last night, actually, I completed the first of the pre-learning assessments, and it felt amazing. So I'm hopeful it's all going to get a little bit easier from now on. I feel like I've had my first breakthrough, and I know I can do it, and so I just have to keep trying. I found, in addition to the Pluralsight work, that there's a website called Codecademy, which has lots and lots of hands-on, very practical, breaking things down into bits at a time, that it basically takes you through all the stuff that you need to learn and gives you lots of time to practice, which is what I need. I can learn things by reading stuff, and I can also learn things by listening to things, but I find the best way is to practice, and I found Code Academy in conjunction with the Pluralsight videos the best way for me to go about doing that. So top tip, if you ever have to do this kind of thing, look for different resources that might suit your learning pattern, or combine different types of resources as much as possible. Don't just think that you have to use the stuff that the tutors have given you, because that's just what works best for them or what they think is all you need. So yeah, do think about how you best learn and try and tailor your approach to that, I suppose. So what I'm looking forward to about the course, lots of things really, but mainly using my brain in a different way again. So I've been working in tech for the past 7 years, a mixture of IT operations, non-functional testing, and some more recently more design type architecture-y kind of stuff. And coding it's very different. Uses I feel like I've not used this part of my brain since I was studying A-level maths, and that was probably 15 years ago, maybe a little bit more. So yeah, it's taken me a while to kind of unlock that bit of my brain again and get it working. And I suppose the brain is a muscle, and I'm assuming each bit of the brain that's responsible for different bits needs exercising just as much as your body does. So yeah, I'm gradually getting into the studying thing again, and it's really good. It feels good to use my brain in a different way. Also looking forward to learning new skills, meeting new people as well. So there's 50 people I think on this course, so that's a lot of names to learn, people to get to know, but I really enjoy working with people, and I learn so much from working in a group with people. Everyone has a different skill set that they can bring, and it always amazes me how someone can think of something totally different to me and you come up with the same answer. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. So I suppose using my brain in a different way, and the group work I am looking forward to the most. I'm quite nervous and apprehensive about the whole thing. Firstly, as I've said, there's 50 people on the course. They've already been together for the past 2 weeks having an induction at work, so they've all started to get to know each other already. So I'm going to be the new person when I go in there, so that's a little bit daunting. And also from the pre-learning, I found, as I mentioned earlier, it's tough, and it's taken me a lot of work in my own time to kind of get up to speed. Now I'm hoping that the fact I've taken the time to do this before the course means that during the course I should pick up things a little bit easier, hopefully, but I suppose I'm worrying that in class, if we're going through tutorials and stuff, if I'm not quite understanding things as quickly as everybody else, am I going to either slow the class down, or am I going to fall behind? Yeah, so that is one of my concerns as well. So what I've learnt so far from the pre-learning is, and just getting myself into the right frame of mind for this, is that having a specific place to study really helps. So I'm really lucky I have an office that I can use at home, but I think even just a small space that you can keep your laptop ready is useful, because I found that I can do some of particularly the Code Academy stuff, I can do some of that in 5-10 minute bursts, and so if my laptop's all there ready to go, I just boot it up and I'm good to go, and I can get 5-10 minutes of learning done. And I'm more likely to do that if I don't have to clear a space and set stuff up. Having a dual monitor really helps, so I plug my laptop into a monitor, so I have my laptop screen and another monitor so that I can work from 2 windows at the same time. I find this really useful because my memory is absolutely awful, and so even just the small amount of time it takes to jump from one screen to the next, I can forget what I was doing. And so having 2 things open at the same time where I can see them both is really helpful. I've been trying to get myself into the study mindset. As I mentioned before, it's quite different to being at work. It's a lot more structured. I found that in my previous roles, I've had a reasonable amount of autonomy, and so I've been able to plan my day how I see fit and work on things in any particular order I've wanted to or as I've seen best. Learning is different, it's very structured, and yeah, I've just found it very different, and I don't think I can articulate how in lots of detail, but yeah, that just be prepared that it will feel different from working full time to going to study full time. What else do I need to say? Oh, prep for next week. So yeah, like I said, I've got 2 more days before I start, I think. Yep. Yeah, it's Friday today and I start on Monday, so I've got the weekend and this afternoon to do a little bit more preparation. I've been trying to get enough sleep each night, so that I'm rested and fully in a good place to take in as much information as possible. I've also tried to get into the habit of exercising, because when I started the pre-learning and I did it at the weekends, I found that I would spend all day sat down, and I think I didn't walk more than a few hundred steps in the whole day, and that makes, if you do that for more than a few days in a row, for me anyway, that makes me feel really rubbish. And so I'm trying to get into the habit of exercising regularly, going outside. So I think on the pre-learning, on the actual course, 2 of my targets are going to be to try and do a little bit of exercise each day, even that's just walking or stretching, and then also trying to get some fresh air each day, even if it's just 15 minutes sitting or standing outside during lunch to just get away from a computer screen and get some fresh air, blow away the cobwebs, and I think that will help me keep my attention for the rest of the day for the course learning. Prepping. What else do I need to do? Oh, I need to go shopping. I'm looking forward to this. I don't know if you can tell. So I want to buy a new water bottle just because, well, I suppose if I'm honest, it's because I'm a little bit clumsy, and the ones I've got at the moment have got screw top lids, and I think if we're in a class of 50 people, it might be a little bit compact, and so I'm going to get one with a straw. So if I knock it over, I am not going to spill water everywhere and be that person. Basically, I'm also going to buy a lunchbox because although lunch is provided, I don't know how much choice there's going to be, and I know that depending on what I eat, I can start feeling quite sleepy in the afternoons, and I don't want that. I know from the pre-learning that I'm going to have to be on the ball every day, all day, so I want to do everything I can to keep my energy levels up, so I'm going to probably try and take my own lunch in most days, I think. Yeah. And what else am I going to shop for? Oh, I might also get some new shoes, just because new shoes, I think that's a thing. Maybe a new bag as well, just while I'm there. I think that's it. I think that's all I wanted to tell you. It's been a bit of a rushed run through, and I'm hoping other videos will be a little bit more interesting as I get into the swing of things and also learn how to use a video editor a bit better. I'm going to try and put clips of the day. You will also see them on Instagram and Twitter as well though. And hopefully some interviews with people as well. I'm lucky enough to have some technology industry experts who I can talk to from different companies that we work with at Nationwide. So I'm going to try and ask them some questions about their tool set and how they found learning technical stuff, that kind of thing. And also I'm going to try and speak to people at Nationwide as well as to how we actually use the technology that I'm learning, because I'm very aware that sometimes when you learn things you have no understanding of how it works in the real world, what the benefits are, that kind of thing. So I'm going to try and get some insight from other people who have been doing it a lot longer than I have. So hopefully, basically what I'm trying to say is these videos will be a lot more interesting than me just talking at you, but I thought I should set the scene, what I'm trying to achieve, that kind of thing. I'm going to try and post at least once a week. It might be more frequently. It will probably be quite sporadic to start, but sporadic but frequent, I think, is my aim. And then I will hopefully settle down into a bit of a routine. But yeah, so hopefully using these videos, my blog, videos of vlogs, written as blogs. So using my vlogs and blogs and the Twitter and the Instagram. It should give you a very comprehensive insight into what these technical academies are like, what they involve. Oh, another thing, I am very aware that I am lucky. I have no real outside of work commitments particularly, so I've been able to clear my calendar for the next 12 weeks pretty much, so I can invest a lot of time into this. So if you've got care responsibilities, that might be a little bit more difficult, so I'm going to try and be open and honest about how much extra work I'm putting into this. I'm hoping it's not going to be hours and hours every night after the study days, but I'm aware that sometimes it could be, and so I'm going to try and be as honest as possible so that you have a good understanding of exactly how much time commitment is required. And I think that's it. So thank you very much. Any questions, comments, tips are very welcome, and I will see you soon.